Hey Maverick Hunters, Zero here. Lately, when members have been resubbing and following the channel and asking what their favorite gun is and who their favorite legend is. Um, just trying to get a rough list and estimate of where people think the Season 6 weapons are. So today in this video, we're going to make a tier list based off of those comments, those recommendations, and also what I think, mainly where these weapons belong on a tier list. Not only are we going to do the regular weapons, by themselves, completely stripped, bare bones up off the floor. We're also going to take the weapon and just add the hop up to it, as that completely changes the weapon in your hand. Or does it? We're going to find out here, this tier list, and see what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, want to catch the stream? Link is always in the description. All right, Maverick Hunters. So here is the categories in which I have broken down the tiers here. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different categories. The bottom being leave it on the floor, followed by need a gun, followed by attachment holder, followed by carry in the mid game, followed by carry in the late game, followed by feeling stupid for not taking, and finally we are going to go on social media and complain about it. So very straightforward here. I wanted to make sure it was super important that we have a middle ground category here. That way, there's no confusion of, well, is it halfway? Is it on the lower side of bad, or is it on the upper side of good? Where are we at here? So, this list is just gonna be guns that will make it or break it for you. Pretty straightforward. It feels super weird explaining how a tier list works, but I don't know. That's what the book said I had to do. So I'm not going to edit this out either. You guys get to watch this, and if you watch it, you get to laugh. Put a LOL in the comment section if you made it this far. All right. So I've took the liberty of sorting the weapons here by ammo type. All right. So we're just going to start off with the sniper rifle, start off with the armed and dangerous category, and then work our way down. So first is the longbow. Longbow as a all-encompassing DMR sniper rifle with the capability of shooting targets from a long distance, but it does have a slow bullet velocity. The bullet drop on it is pretty heavy, feels pretty heavy. And this is without the skull piercer. So without the skull piercer, I'm going to put this in the carry it into mid-game category. There's nothing wrong with picking up a longbow. In fact, it's good if you wanted to hold some attachments, but it's very viable. The fire rate on the weapon is great at mid-range, and if you're a seasoned veteran of Apex, you know how to hit your shots. This is absolutely fantastic. Followed by the bow with the skull piercer. I'm going to put that right next to it again. This just makes it better. Hitting a headshot is difficult with the longbow. I mean, short of your target standing still, that I feel like is appropriate. The skull piercer on a longbow is really just icing on the cake. Personally, if you feel super comfortable using a longbow, and longbow is a weapon you pick up constantly, this is probably a gun you carry into the late game, and don't feel bad about it. So it can definitely do some things, and up close enough to hip fire, I mean, it still hits pretty hard. So we're gonna keep that. Next is the charge rifle. The charge rifle also is a carry into mid-game weapon. Charge rifle, even though the stacks are high, the wind-up time on it, the fact that you can't have an extended magazine on it, in the meta right now, because we have Evo shields, it's good to charge your Evo shield up, but you're not going to be doing much with it. No one wants to push a charge rifle, but you're showing the whole map where you are. So really middle of the road, could go either way, but it definitely has its purpose. The first iteration of the charge rifle was obviously complaining about it on Twitter category, but now it's where sniper rifle should be, I think. The triple take. The triple take is now the best. The triple take no longer has a choke. Therefore, it has the same amount of attachments as its cousin, the Sentinel. Um, and you can hip fire it effectively. You can hit some amazing shots with it. The bullet velocity off of the 3 rounds that come out of it, or when it's choked, is fast enough to where you can reasonably use your crosshairs quickly and not have to worry about bullet drop. So I think the triple take is a beast right now, and I mean, if they reduce the fire rate anymore, which they're not going to, but if the fire rate was just a little bit shorter, a shorter length, probably put it in the category of feel stupid for not taking. So, and then speaking of the Sentinel, I'll put the Sentinel right next to the triple take. Now, personally, I think the Sentinel is the best gun in the game, but that is just because I think like any BR, like any FPS, having a bolt action sniper is superb. The damage on this Sentinel is 100% fair. The headshot multiplier is 100% fair, and then the mechanic of charging it to just break shields is fantastic. I'm having a team that can capitalize on that, or having another sniper on your team where you synchronize shots. A lot of potential in the Sentinel, and like the triple take, you don't feel bad for using iron sights or putting a 2x on it and using it up close. It's a very good weapon. I think that's appropriate overall for the sniper meta and the sight lines that World's Edge has. Maybe not so much King's Cane, but definitely World's Edge. I feel like the snipers in general are in a good spot right there. All right, so next we're moving on to the shotguns. Love shotguns. Man, we're gonna talk about that here in a second. I want to get ahead of myself. So the Mozambique, we're leaving that on the floor. Sorry. Yeah, they upped it. They upped the count on the magazine to 4, which is great, but it's not, I'm running past the Mozambique if I can on the floor. And that's after, like, I'm talking, hey, you just landed, you're in your first building and you're looking for a gun. I'm leaving the Mozambique. Leaving it. I'm not going to knock anyone that has a body shield. You're just not going to. Mozambique with hammer points, though, I'm carrying this into the mid game. If you hit all 4 shots, you're knocking them. Straight up. 3 shots will break. 3 shots of a Mozambique will break 100 damage, right? And the hammer points will definitely kill someone straight up, a headshot. And if they're even a little bit damaged when you get up to them, you're taking them out. So this is great. The EVA 8, we're going to carry that into the mid game. And by the way, when I say carry into the mid game, that doesn't mean you're going to drop it when you're in the late game. That just means this weapon will, at a bare minimum, get you to this point of the game. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad for the rest of the game. EVA 8. EVA 8 being an automatic shotgun, having 8 rounds in it. You don't have to ADS it. You hit fire that bad boy all day. And when it has a upgraded bolt on it, you're just dropping people. And because you're not ADSing the shotgun, your movement is quicker than it would be otherwise if you were ADSing, say, a wingman, right? The fact that you can crouch, move, and out strafe your opponent is very good. The double tap, we're going to carry that into the late game. So a lot of people don't like the double tap, and before they fixed it, I would have said the double tap is pointless. But since they fixed it, it's been a lot better. And what I mean is that, and I don't know how long ago, but not that long ago, the double tap and the bolt did not sync up, meaning the bolt reduces the time in between your automatic shots, right? But the double tap didn't look to that number that the bolt changed. So it would still double tap at the same rate as it would be if you didn't have a bolt on it, which is very important. Now, that's not the case, and so double tapping with a purple bolt on it will finish a kill quickly. So if you have an AR in your main You have a double tap Eve on the side. It doesn't take anything to switch to the double tap, and because you have that double tap, you will drop them faster than they would, than have a chance to kill you. I've actually won a 1v1. I think I posted that clip previously where I came out with like 1 health because I had a double tap. So I think that's where that goes. Oh, the Mastiff. I hate the Mastiff, but I have to be super objective here. We're carrying the Mastiff into the mid game. It is the wingman of shotguns, but it does more damage. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. If you're hitting your Mastiff shots, you're doing about 100 damage to a target and dropping them where they stand. It is a fickle beast, but there's a lot love-hate relationship with that weapon, which goes to show it's pretty balanced for the most part. The one thing about the Mastiff that takes practice and skill is knowing when to ADS it and when not to. That's pretty much it. If they're up close to you, don't ADS it, it's fine. But even if they're 5 or 10 meters off of you, which is so very close range, you have to ADS it for it to be effective. And that's pretty much it. So, all right. So now we're all going to the light weapons here. The P2020 naked, we're needing a gun. And the reason this is better than leaving it on the floor is because the magazine size is reasonable. It takes light weapon attachments, so while you're looking for loot, you can also pick up an extended magazine, a sight, etc., and be fine. And it really doesn't have a fire rate, meaning you can click that thing to death pretty much, and you'll be all right. I mean, I don't know how many clicks per second you guys can do, but this thing with effective shots can really take somebody down. So, it's not the best gun, obviously, and it's having only a P2020 feels bad, but it can do some damage. P2020 hammer points. We're carrying this into the late game. For the same reason that the original P2020 is good, the P2020 hammer points are better. You get 4 shots with the beak. You get up to, I believe, 18 shots with an extended magazine for the P2020, and you're just nailing them for 30 a pop. I mean, that's outstanding. You can reasonably go only light weapons. You have your alternator or your RE45 or your 301, and just take your P2020, finish them, reload your guns quickly, and move on. It will drop a target, no matter how big and bad they think they are. You fire so quick, it's a physical skill to click that fast, but if you can fire quick enough, that gun's amazing. All right, next, the R301. We're carrying that into the late game every day. I call this gun the beam machine. It doesn't take anything to pull down to the left and just hit all your shots. This is notoriously in the replicator some days, and it is great. It is, it's top there, man. It's pretty king. I mean, it is one of the best guns in the game, hands down. I don't feel bad for not taking it if I see it, if I already have stuff. I feel stupid for not taking category is more for guns like, hey, I came up on you. If I don't take you, I feel dumb. So the R301 just gets carried into the late game, but if I pass it up, I don't feel bad about it. I might think about it. I might even change it out, but I don't necessarily feel bad for taking. Now, this is going to cause some contention here. Here on the RE45. Now, the RE45 is a great weapon, specifically because the R99 is no longer on the floor. The RE45 has a straightforward recoil pattern. Its fire rate is insane. It's an automatic weapon. It takes light attachments. A lot of people aren't using light weapons that much anymore, so ammo is abundant. I'm gonna put this in the attachment holder category. So you can keep an RE45. You can use as your side rifle. Your side weapon. That's no big deal. But are you gonna drop an RE45 with a 1 or 2x on it, a purple mag, and a barrel for an R301? Absolutely. You're just gonna do it, and you should do it. So that's gonna go in the attachment holder category. That doesn't mean the weapon's trash. It just means that you're definitely gonna drop it for another weapon given the opportunity. That's why that goes there. The Scout. We're gonna do regular Scout first. The Scout is also an attachment holder for the same reason RE45 is an attachment holder. I'm going to put attachments on the scout and then wait to find a 301. And that's just the way it is. Doesn't matter. And if that doesn't matter, then having a double tap doesn't matter either. If you are great at single fire weapons, and the reason being, and I want to make this clear, is that the original scout would have been, feel stupid for not taking care of the late game category list tier part of the list, but the fact that the fire rate is so low now and the recoil is so much greater than it used to be. It's just an attachment hole now for the 301. And oftentimes, before they put the R99 in the crate season 5, you would just drop it for an R9 and you'd be fine, do the R400 combo. But here, not feeling it as much as I used to, and it's a shame too. That's a great gun. And the alternator, man, the fire rate is so slow. Again, it's an attachment holder for the 301. The fire rate is so slow at a medium range distance. It's fine because of the slow fire rate, you can easily use the iron sights on it and control the recoil pattern horizontally. But it's not doing what it needs to do, and it's not a replacement for the 99. There's no gun right now that plays R99. I think we're about halfway down the list now, and I want to point out that where most of the light weapons are is indicative of the meta right now. Okay, light weapons lost their MVP, I think, when they shelved the R9 into the crate. So hopefully this gets addressed, because if people aren't picking up light weapons, either they're going to pull the R9 back out of the crate, or they're going to buff some of these, which I hope. Okay, cool. Next, we're going to move to the heavy weapons. Fantastic. The Prowler. We're taking the Prowler into the late game. Period. Prowler is insane. You can 3-click somebody and they're dead. I mean, there's no else way to put it. Prowler is, for being a burst weapon and just having to pull down and the fire rate on it being reasonable and extended magazine, you can easily just wreck somebody with this weapon. No question. Oftentimes, you'll come up on a Prowler and you'll decide if you even want to go heavy. That's how powerful this gun is. If this gun is in the replicator, you're taking the Prowler. You're just going to go out of your way and go, oh, I can just pick a Prowler. By and large, the heavy weapons right now aren't being used more than the energy weapons. So again, same deal with the light weapons. You're gonna have heavy ammo. Heavy guns are still kind of in favor, but they're not like as part of the meta as the energy weapons are. I would say that energy, heavy, light, and then shotgun kind of bounces around somewhere in there as an ammo type for the current meta of Apex. Now, let's say there's a replicator and you have the opportunity to have a select fire. You feel stupid for not taking it. You feel stupid. The Prowler is the highest DPS. I think it's still, compared to the Volt, the highest DPS weapon in the game. Prowler with select fire is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. A golden Prowler is more ridiculous because it's all there, but having the digi threat on the Prowler with the magazine and the shoulder stock for stability, holding it all down is it's dumb. You should pick up that gun. You see a Prowler, or you see a Prowler and select fire. Let's say you come up with a supply bin and it's a Prowler and a select fire in the same bin. You drop your gun, dude, and you pick that up. Play with it. Do it. The Spitfire. Now, with Rampart in the game, the Spitfire is amazing. But even without her tactical affecting LMGs, Spitfire is still insane. Spitfire with a purple mag will let somebody 1v2 easy, back to back, without having to stop, reload, or anything. So we're carrying the Spitfire in the late game. My recommendations are 3x on the Spitfire. Even if it's your main weapon, put a 3x on it, and the hip fire on it's reasonable. Put a 3x on it, purple barrel, purple mag, obviously, and kick ass with it. That's what we're gonna do. The Wingman, we're gonna carry the Wingman to the mid game. we might drop the wingman for some other gun in the late game, but we're definitely gonna pick it up and rock with it. The wingman's super skill dependent. That's what makes it the wingman. But I don't think it's so good that while you're moving to the late game, depending on your skill level and your confidence level, that you're guaranteed to carry it into the late game. You might. Um, Wingman will definitely get you to where you need to be, um, in terms of, getting kills, getting loot where you're going. But if you see a wingman, if you have a wingman, excuse me, and you see a prowler or prowler with select fire, you're probably gonna drop the wingman. So it doesn't belong to be disrespected down here in the attachment holder category because it can hold its own very well. But it definitely is getting carried in the mid game, and I think that's also indicative of its skull piercer. It feels good to have a skull piercer. You're more likely to get the benefit of the skull piercer with the wingman than you would the longbow. And seeing 110 damage to the head feels good. But same thing. If you have a wingman or a golden wingman, you're still gonna drop it for a prowler or a prowler with select fire. You're just going to. The hemlock. Here's another one that's kind of hit or miss here. Single fire hemlock is very strong. It's very good. It has roughly the same fire rate as what feels like a P2020 that can put a 3x. You can put a 3x on it and start clicking people. I know some of the more famous pro players love the hemlock, and they buffed it for the season 6, making the recoil pattern more dependable and better. So you know what? I think because of the buff, we're gonna carry in the mid game. I think last season it would have been an attachment holder for other heavy weapons, but we're definitely gonna carry this into the mid game, and just click people with it. The versatility of it being a sniper, a DMR in a sense, by being able to click single fire, or the ability to just put it on burst and up close handle people is very good. It is often compared to the Prowler because of the burst functionality, but I think that the Prowler has its own niche, and I think that the Hemlock has its own niche. The Prowler wants to be up close. It thrives up close. The Hemlock wants to shoot at a distance. It doesn't mind being up close, but it's mostly used. It's used more effectively when you can burst someone down at a good distance or hit your shots in single fire. If you have good recoil control, that weapon will annoy the shit out of people. Very good. Very, very good. The flatline, we are going to carry this into the late game. So, oftentimes I'll drop the Hemlock for the flatline because it's a automatic weapon. It takes only 3 attachments, and the damage on it is great. And if you know how to control the recoil on it by training, practicing, it'll just drop people. You mix in a few headshots in there, understand how the gun kicks, how it works. It is the AK-47 of Apex, and it is fantastic. It is great. It's next to the, it's in good company with the Spitfire and the Prowler. The hip fire is fair. The damage on it is amazing. The headshot on it's amazing. It is a great weapon to use. Again, you put a 3x on it. If you're great at recoil control, you're pissing a lot of people off. Personally, I like putting the bruiser on the flatline to just drop my targets, and I have full confidence when I'm shooting with a flatline that it will get the job done. Okay, next we're moving on to the energy weapons. Yikes. Points of contention. So first we have the L-Star. Where in the world do we put the L-Star? L-Star will get us to the mid game. Now, I realize that this gun needs work, and I am on that bandwagon that says, hey, L-Star needs buffs, and it does. It shoots a lot slower than its LMG cousins. I mean, absolutely shoots slow. I think the fire rate on it is 18,000 meters per second, I think. And the Spitfire is like 36,000 meters per second. So the difference is crazy. And the two complaints are it fires too slow, and the projectiles are so bright that it's hard to like gauge where you're shooting. And even though they added the red dot to it during a patch, like the Prowler, it's still not good enough. Now, Rampart having this gun feels a little bit better, but it doesn't change the basics of the weapon. The L-Star is fun to play with, but it feels bad when you're trying to hit your shots and you just go down. But it'll definitely catch someone off guard and down them, given the right situation. But because this is a general overview, not what legend uses what weapon, we're just going to carry in the mid game and probably drop it for a better weapon later on. And probably replace it. And the other reason this thing isn't an attachment holder is because it doesn't hold that many attachments. I'll pick an L-Star up off the ground if I need a weapon. It doesn't have enough attachments to hold for another weapon, really. So that's why this almost by default goes into the carry in the mid game category. Next is the Devotion. The Devotion carries in the mid game. Like, gun is stupid. I don't have to say much about it. It's been dominating the meta right now. When you hear Devotion, you kind of want to avoid that person. The windup is a little slow on it, but boy, when that baby starts firing, man, you just want to get out the way. Just get out the way, even at a distance. It is insane. Devotion with turbocharger goes here. I don't think that's a shocker. The fact this is on the floor or in a replicator is ridiculous. Yeah, they reduced the amount of times it spawns, and yeah, it's clear they reduced the amount of times the turbocharger spawns, but a golden Devotion is just dumb. It will just destroy and rip apart everyone. It's just unnecessary. It feels almost like it's a a PvE weapon where where if you have like 100 prowlers in front of you, that's the gun they'd give you. I'd argue it almost competes with Sheila. It's Sheila, which is ridiculous. I mean, that's at least when you shoot Sheila, the first couple of rounds are wide, and then the shot group tightens up on it as you go through the rounds. This thing kicks maybe 3-4 times, and then you're just lasering a whole squad. It's insane. Complain about it on Reddit and Twitter. The Havoc. Havoc is carried into the late game. Its attachments are great. The fact that we have energy mags in the game now is fantastic. The recoil is still hard to control. The old Havoc was super difficult. We did a video on that about how you should use it before they change it. They've changed it, and since then it is somewhat difficult to control by itself, but still very strong and great hip fire. So all around great. So if you have a turbocharger and you find one and you come upon a Havoc, you feel stupid for not taking it. The Havoc with the turbocharger cuts the bullshit out of the recoil. So because the windup isn't causing it to kick so hard, it's easier to anticipate the recoil like the other assault rifles. The habit of wanting to pull down smoothly instead of down, stop, down, stop, down, stop, and then hold whatever the pattern is as it kicks. Having that turbocharger takes that guesswork out and just goes straight for the beam. You just beam kids with it. So you have a turbocharger, you find it on the ground, just like a select fire, come upon a Havoc, you want to pick that bad boy up. Absolutely. The Volt, I also feel stupid for not taking a Volt. Okay. We did our last YouTube video here on the channel. We talked about the Volt recoil pattern and why this gun is good. So I'm not going to dive too much into that. If you want to check that video out, you're at the right place. But the Volt's recoil pattern with its attachments will just laser people. That's it. That's it. End of conversation. It replaced the R99, and even though the R99 is still where it is, and respectable, the Volt is dumb. Because the bullets go faster, the recoil pattern is easier, the attachments are great, it's easy to control. Pick up the Volt. Just pick it up. Okay, the number one problem with the Volt is the lack of energy ammo on the map. That's it. That's it. Alright. So it feels kind of silly. It feels kind of silly putting these last three into a category because they're all care package weapons. They're all care package weapons, right? So we all know that, like, no one's going to complain about a care package weapon being overpowered. No one's going to go on social media and complain about how these 3 guns are overpowered because they're in the crate. They're supposed to be overpowered in a way. I don't like using the phrase overpowered too much. Overpowered means it doesn't belong in the game and needs to be fixed. I think these guns are fine. They're where they need to be for where they are. And it's worth noting that 2 out of 3 of these weapons used to be on the floor at one point in the game. So that tells you something, right? It's a absolute crime and a shame the R9 is in the crate now. That is a great gun. We have all those skins for those guns I'm sure we purchased over the past year. But here we are. So the R9 goes into feel stupid for not taking. And kind of in a way, these all feel stupid for not taking, but you know, we're going to talk about that. So the R9 is buffed. It's great. It's in the crate. You're familiar with it. You've used it before. It's got the same recoil pattern. You know how to use it. It just does more damage. So if you have any one of these guns in the carry in the mid, carry in the late game category, and you come upon an R9, you're probably just going to take the R9. And you should. You absolutely should. This goes back to what I said about the Wingman or the Hemlock or the L-Star. You're just going to pick this gun up. You're going to use it. And you should. It's great. The Peacekeeper, man, the Peacekeeper is kind of like here, you know, but like it can also be here too. So I'm gonna put it next to its friend, the R9. So me personally, never been amazed with Peacekeeper, but I know there's people out there that are great with it. The choke on it is okay. It's very precise. It's like a scalpel. The choke on the Peacekeeper turns it from a hammer to a scalpel when you choke it. So if you can hit those choke shots, it's great. Some people, and the only reason it would go into carry in the late game is some people won't drop their EVA 8 or their Mastiff for the Peacekeeper. For that reason I just explained. So we're still gonna put it here. You feel stupid for not taking it. But some people leave it and can't really blame them. Can't really blame them, man. Gun's okay. If they put it, they should put this back on the floor. We need more shotguns in the game, honestly. Put the Devotion back in the crate. Bring out the Peacekeeper. Let's have some fun. And finally, Mama Crab. Feel stupid for not taking for all these reasons. The best gun in the game objectively. Most damage per shot. The only weapon that can do guaranteed kill you on a headshot. It's the Kraber. It's the king of all guns in Apex. And that's just the way it is. So practicing with the Kraber, hitting those Kraber headshots, making clips and VODs of you using a Kraber definitely gets you noticed on social media. It is objectively the best gun in the game for its damage alone. And it's the best sniper in the game, clearly. So, and I think that is going to be our list. I don't think I want to change anything. I know this isn't like a Price is Right game, but I think I'm happy with the way I ranked all this out. What do you guys think? Do you think that I categorized the weapons correctly? What categories did you change? What would you change around on my list? Let me know down in the comments. I've been Zero. You guys, the Maverick Hunters. I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. To see more guides of gameplay, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. And don't forget, you can catch me live on Twitch by following the link in the description. I've been Zero, and you guys are the Maverick Hunters, and I'll see you all next time.